Poor man them systems up. Food that we can't show up. Bet them a go get that now. Poor man them systems up.
Shall we start then properly for sure?
Hi.
Hey, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us for this, which is now I've lost count of what number we're on, but it's the Cardo Cast and the latest edition of Cardo Cast with the lovely Jayli.
Hi.
And obviously, as always, I love to have a little chat, get involved, just see what Jayli's been up to, and just get involved in a bit of a conversation. But the first most important. Are you?
I'm great. Everybody's like, lockdown has been hard. It's been tough, don't get me wrong, but it's been such a wake-up call for me in this industry to know my place and what I actually want to do with myself.
So it's actually reinforced your passion and love for it.
I started because I loved making music.
Oh yeah.
My first track I ever produced, I was like 10, I think.
Wow. Okay, so you
garage
were like
band
proper...
and like into it, and then I lost my way, and so coming back into lockdown, I kind of like reeled it back and went, right, I need to get on this production side and I need to get great at it. So what I do is I get it to the final mix, and then I'll get it mixed and mastered at the end. Yeah. So I'm really I'm loving the process. It still takes me about a week to do one friggin' track, but I mean, yeah, I'm happy. And the thing is then I sit with it and I'm like, what am I doing with this? Am I in love with it? Do I want to release it? You know, it's one of those things.
So I was going to ask, I mean, how often are you releasing tracks? Because I follow you on Instagram, and we will put links of all of the things that Jayli's up to, all her latest releases, as well as where you can check her out. So stick around. Yeah. And if you are watching, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and give us likes. Smash that like button, as they say. And so I really just wanted to find out exactly like you say. So you actually started your music production way back when. I've been watching you on Instagram, and I've been seeing, like, you're literally prolific in terms of the things that you're doing. You're doing live mixes, you're doing, working on the side, then you're doing these workout videos, and then and then you got music being released. It's like, where do you actually have the time to fit everything in?
It's hard. It is hard. You just kind of have to stretch yourself. I'm a freelancer, so if I don't work, I don't earn money, which is kind of like...
I know that feeling.
It's interesting. But I started, obviously, like I said, I was always in sound design. I was in a band growing up, and then after I left the band, I wanted to perform.
What kind of music in the band?
It was urban music back in the day. It was like 2010. You guys, if you know MO Bad Vibes, I was in that band, and that band was called Duchess, and we did the whole album Black Eyed Peas, which was freaking awesome. And then after that, I was a bit lost, really, to be quite frank, and then I was like, I love country music, I'm gonna start doing country music, which I suppose was an influence from my father, because he's obviously into his music and he's into production, and
so
I was
music
just
was like
it was
in the
cemented
house.
in my house. My mum listened to soul, my dad was like a Beach Boys vibe, loved country music as well, and then he hooked me up with a guy called Rick Driscoll, and we did a band together with a girl called Jordan called the Jays, and I haven't ever mentioned this ever before, so people don't even know this. And the first single we released was a track that was written by Brian Johnson from AC/DC.
Wow.
Then I started to like really not enjoy it. I was like, this isn't me. I don't enjoy doing this type of music. And I was waitressing in loads of clubs in London, and I was like, just imagine being able to just get behind the decks and play. I was always the kid at school who was like, had Frank Sinatra and Eminem as my first records on my iPod. And I was like, wow. Anytime a track would come out that I loved, I'd put it around and be like, can I play the music? Can I be the one in control of it, kind of thing? And I suppose every DJ kind of has that in them. And so I don't know why I didn't discover it sooner. And then, do you remember Jojo? Hip-hop DJ?
No.
Night Crashers. And who's the other guy? DJ Prince. Prince Charles.
Yeah?
He's called Prince Charles, which is funny. realise it's because of obviously the Queen. Didn't even put two and two together. But anyway, they were doing China Whites at the time, back in the day.
China Whites.
And I would be there being like, oh, can you teach me to DJ? So Jojo came round one day and taught me on my CDJ 1000s with my CDs. And so I burnt all my CDs
So was that your first system that you started on? You lucky girl. You lucky girl.
This was over 15 years ago though, so. Well, actually 12 years ago, but still. Wow. CDJ 1000s were the first thing I started on. So I'd burn my CDs and I'd write all the titles out and I'd stand there. Jojo, bless his heart, he's going to kill me for saying this, but he was always late for his gig. So I'd always be like, guys, can I just open for Jojo? And then they'd be like, Jim, you have to waitress the floor. And I'd be like, oh no, it will be like, you know,
just a quick
they'll see me on the stage or the DJ decks, and then I'll come out and be their waitress. They'll love it, and people loved it. They ate it up. So I would be there mixing with and I remember I had the CD that always skipped every single record, and I was like, oh, it's coming. It's coming. Oh, there it is. Like, you just have, like, do you remember? You know that feeling?
You even put a little fade on it or something.
Yeah, like, just knock it out. Yeah. Knock the frequency out.
You know it's going to come back in. You know it's going to come in. So you just, zip or dead effects.
Literally do a little shuffle on the other deck, like, try and, like, mask it. And then, I was trying to get gigs in London and no one. They were like, you're a waitress. You're a really good waitress. And I'm like, no, I'm a DJ. And they were like, you're not a DJ. You're Jamie, the girl that sings and very bubbly and doing the club circuit and has loads of contacts for like waitressing. And so I was like, this is really challenging. No one is wanting me to
break
DJ.
Out of that mold.
Yeah, and trying to get in the London scene. So I removed myself from the London scene and I went to Australia. And I was like, I'm going to go to Australia. So I got there and Cafe Del Mar had just opened up on Darling Harbour. And I walked in and I was like, I was like, guys, I'm like this international famous DJ in London. I do every single big club in London. And I named them all because I'd worked in all of them as a waitress.
You've been there and you can corroborate.
Yeah.
From there,
there. And then I was hitting the managers being like, if they ask, I DJ'd for you. If you ask. And like they were all they cared. They basically wanted to see me succeed. But they didn't want to take the punt themselves and then fuck up their venue. Yeah. So I then got a residency at Cafe Del Mar.
Oh, amazing.
And it was Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. Wow. And they were paying me $300 a night. And then I'd work in a coffee shop in the weekdays. Yeah, so I'd work in a coffee shop in the weekdays, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would just DJ the whole week. And it was hard because the coffee job only paid like $8.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I totally get you. You know, you're doing that 9 to 5 for the 35 to 40 hours a week where you're absolutely killing yourself to do these hours for these people, and they're like, you take 2 extra minutes and they're like, you're late, and I'm like, I'm doing a good service, and there's all these things,
soul destroying.
On top of that, on Friday night comes, and then you're having to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the trot, and then go back to work on a Monday, supposed to be fresh, and they're like, come on, get with it. Yeah. So it's really difficult. I totally get what you're saying. So.
And it was hard because I went from working in a nightclub as a waitress to being a waitress in a coffee shop, and it's different. It is so different. I suppose at nighttime you can get away with murder because it's dark. I would be like, there would be times where I would drop drinks on people, obviously in the nightlife, and it would be fine because they'd all be drunk. So they'd be like, woo, it's a bit of fun.
Oh, okay.
You do that in a coffee shop? Oh my gosh. End of the world. And so how did I come back? I was wanting...
If I had those 3 gigs, I just got to say, if I had those 3 gigs a week, because I did actually do that and I shot myself in the foot. I was working at AXA in Tunbridge Wells.
Yeah.
And I got a residency working Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Paying literally 300 quid. And I was like, that clears all my bills. I'm giving up my day job.
Yeah.
And I left. I walked out. I was
but
like,
this is Australian. Yeah. This is Australian dollars.
Australia's more expensive, isn't
and
it?
And a chicken breast was about £11.
Oh.
Yeah, and my rent I was sharing with my brother. We were sharing a bedroom, literally, with my brother. Yeah. It was like, we had 2 single beds, and my rent was $1,500 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was really scraping the barrel, and it was really hard. And then my hard drive died on my computer and I lost everything. And so I went to a computer store and they were like, I'm so sorry, we can't do anything, you're gonna have to buy a new laptop. And I'd lost all my music, and I was like, my dad, he's so technical, if anything ever went wrong, I'd be like, Dad, can you just fix this for me? And then it would be fixed. He'd be amazing at it. And I didn't have that luxury anymore. I remember calling him, crying down the phone, being like, I am finally like making my mark here, doing all these gigs. Like I was playing for Mark Knight on the beach and in Australia, and it was just
epic times.
Yeah, I was really like making a mark there and actually seeing progression. I was on Serato at the time with my little laptop, and that's why I couldn't do anything, because my music was all on. I didn't have my USBs. I didn't have a backup. I was an idiot, and so I was like, you only
make that mistake once, and we have all been there.
We've all been there, and you know what? I got back on a plane, went back to my dad with my head down, ashamed, feeling like a failure. And they were, all my residencies in Australia, they're like, look, come back, we'll take you back, just go sort yourself out. So I went back home, and then I got one gig in London at a gym. And it was, no, that was beforehand. I'm just thinking, because I broke my arm and I was like the one-armed DJ. It was like really funny. It was like a kind of like a funny thing. Anyway, no, that was before I went to Australia. I think that was the tip of the iceberg. Then I moved to Australia, came back, and then I started to get some gigs. And I was like, people are actually hiring me as a DJ now. I was like, this is epic. And then sooner or later, I was like, traveling and DJing and doing weddings and doing all these different kind of events, and then I was like, this is it, this is what I've been wanting to work for such a long time. And my dad fixed my laptop as well. But afterwards I was like, I need to get on USB, I need to just completely convert my whole system. So slowly I went from CD to Serato to USBs.
Oh wow, you went that way around.
I went that way, and I loved Serato. I was using for a bit as well at one point, but
I tried. You know what, I had that same thing. So I was on CDs, then I went straight to MP3, and I made MP3 files and had backup,
dragged them and dropped.
But now pretty much. But now what I've got is I've got all my music backed up on like a mini SSD card. So I've got like a 500 gig SSD card, which is the core music that is backed up. So I can search it on any console, and it's going to come up as a waveform or anything like that. It's not going to be a problem. And then I've got my record box.
Record box is the best thing in the world. And also record box have the record box cloud now, so it backs it up itself anyway.
I don't like they're going to this point of where like you're not going to have to own music, but I will never ever get rid of like all the music that I've also had that situation where I lost all the music that I had, and that was the music that I had when I first came to the UK, and I lost like loads of Afro house and proper stuff that I picked up in Mozambique and in Tanzania and in Nairobi. I went to Kenya and places like that where I sourced some epic tribal music and
all
stuff.
on CDs as well, which is like you just would burn them, and now no laptops have CDs built in them.
I went through that progress of taking the CDs, and like if you even look into my collection now, there's songs that I'm finding out. I was like, I was a Joey Negro fan when I was 14,
and you didn't realize. And the thing is people don't know what those records are when they're listening out. No one knows.
Track 2, track 4, track 7, and it's like I have to put them in, load them up, and go, that track.
I would be the worst if I lost my playlists.
Oh really?
Because I
because of that, I've got that duality. And my radio shows, I actually do a prep show on record box where I'll have like 20 tracks.
Do you make crates on record box, or do you use your playlist through iTunes? Because I go through iTunes into record box.
No. I don't even, my iTunes isn't even activated. My iTunes, everything, I open all my music using a program called VLC, because VLC means that you don't have to deal with any of the ads and all of that kind of stuff. And VLC opens every single kind of format or file you could ever think of.
Wow.
So it's pretty epic. And if a file comes up like a 4MA file or something that tries to open up whatever the file extension is, to open up the player, I'll just go into it and I'll deactivate, and I'll be like, no, I'm not using you, Apple. So I don't use the playlist at all because I want as much.
So how do you organize your music?
So I've got
through
all
Recordbox.
So my folders are I've made my folders of 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties, 10s.
You go to the
20s.
1900s?
1920.
Oh, 1920s. Okay, so like Gatsby vibes.
Yes, yeah. So and then I've got my swing and all of that kind of stuff, and then I go into the 50s.
So you do it like that? Wow.
Because I'm also a wedding DJ, so I have to have.
So I go through. So mine is all the dance tracks I have.
Yeah.
It's
But I've
like
still
deep
got all of
house,
those.
tech house,
Yeah, I've also
tribal
got
house,
those.
Afro house, tropical house, all basic commercial house, and then I have the pop section, and I put the pop on BPMs, and I put the hip hop on BPMs.
Oh, really?
So I do
Okay.
hip hop 60 to 70, and then hip hop 80s, and then hip hop 100s, and then hip hop 128. Because obviously 60 and 128 can be the same.
Yeah.
But some tracks are double time, others are half time, and then I have the flexibility, and I do that with the pop music, and then I keep the house stuff separate. And sometimes I will drag the track into duplicate folders anyway.
Oh, so I've got the in date, and then at the bottom, then you've got my commercial, and I'm actually in that process of moving over to that SSD. And it's funny to see some of the folders, like my current commercial charts folder is like
Akon.
Yeah. It's got like what's his name? Pitbull. Hotel room and.
See, that is not my vibe at all. My partner hates football. Anytime he hears him, he's like, "Turn him off! Can't deal with it." And I'm like, well, it was like a big tune back in the day, and it's kind of like cemented me to not like it.
Timber, because obviously I was playing this one club. Rest in peace. I won't say their name. But I used to play there, and it was just that kind of music because it was a really commercially club, so you had to play all these commercial edits. But I try to stay away from that kind of vibe if I can. But to be honest with you, I say that, but like I'm very lucky that I get to enjoy. Like now, I've just been put onto the ritual bill for the 30th.
Yes, well done.
Yeah, thank you. Shout outs to the ritual crew and Mr. Dan Healy. I love you, big boy. Because I'm going to go help him out actually. Good. Just to do some
Where's
lighting.
the next location that they're doing?
So this is going to be at Proud in Brighton.
Lovely.
So I'll put the links in the description as well because it's going to be pretty epic. Jess Bays is going to be headlining. We've got Dan Healy, and we've got Teddy Gianni, another South African brother from another mother. Yeah, he literally, Teddy, I don't know if you know Teddy. I'm sure you've met him before at London in the Sky. I think that's where we actually first met.
It was. And that was only a year ago.
No, it wasn't. It was 2 years ago. It's 2021. What are we in? 2020?
2020. It was 2020. Because we had to wear masks.
No, we didn't. We didn't.
We did. I swear we did.
No, it was 2019. Summer. I promise you, I've been lamenting like a grandfather for the last 2 years because I was like, the summer of 2019 where I met Sam Devine and I met Josh Parkinson, because that's where it all kind of kicked off for me.
Really?
Yeah, because I was.
See, I've known Josh for years and years, but like through social crowds.
Yeah.
And then he like literally killed it on the DJ scene.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still. He's one of the next ones that's coming on the show for sure.
He's so much fun.
I got to sit in studio with him and just to see the way he creates his vibes, because he's got this sound that he's able to transfer to like this laid back kind of. I get this New York penthouse kind of laid back vibe, that he puts into his sound, and then he goes to this dirty kind of grimy. Underground hardness to some of his music, and he's got that diversity. So when I got to sit down and see how he actually puts a tune together, I was like, yes, thank you so much.
It inspired you?
Yeah, definitely did.
Are you making music this year?
I am making music. I'm struggling along. I actually had like loads of kits, but I found that I had all this kit that was actually just doing nothing because I had and so I've just kind of said no. Let me take it back. Let me take it back to basics, and that's kind of what Josh helped me with, because he put me onto Splice and just
Splice is amazing.
Yeah.
I would also, any potential big DJs out there, I use it so well, is Fader Pro. Fader Pro. They do the most incredible tutorials. I have come out with some of the best tracks of my life from using Fader Pro. Just from like tutorials and learning from the best. I'm actually on a course at the moment with Nicky Romero, and that is just insane. Oh, wow. And like the packs are...
Because actually saying that, because I was working with Tim Cullen, and he's using one of the plugins from Nicky Romero.
Oh yeah, so then he's got a great pack on Splice. It's called Protocol, Volume 1.
Mate, I need to get my notes up here.
I'm really into my tech world, though, as you know. I love it. I mean, sorry, my dog is...
No, it's all right. Just having fun. We have a little addition walking around, having a bit of fun. So yeah, bring him on cam.
Bring him on camera, darling. Come sit. Look. Oh, he looks massive on camera. He's actually quite small. He's not too big, is he?
No.
He's the softest thing in the world.
Yeah, because I saw. That actually brings me on to when I saw you did the Denon Prime review.
Yeah. So how I met Denon was through ADE.
Yeah.
And I was using their Prime 4. It was a 4-channel deck that had 2 layers. So it was like using 4 CDJs. Yeah. So you can have the platforms of each track, and then you go to a different platform. And the cool thing about it is it locks your BPMs after the track's playing out. So if you change your BPM fader to make it slower on the other track, it doesn't affect the track that's playing underneath that deck.
Yeah. I saw you do that.
Cool.
I saw you actually do the breakdown of the tech, and I was like, because I'm of this mindset right now. I'm like, I need to. I'm even trying to get myself some finance for some CDJ 2000 Nexus 2s.
Cool.
But it's like, do I spend the money on Nexus 2?
Second-hand ones.
Well, yeah, I'm looking up, but who's going to give me finance on second-hand ones? That's the problem. I can't buy them outright.
No, you can get them. You can get finance on new kit and second-hand. On.
Well, I've gone through, because I got my XDJ RX2. I got that, and the RX1 I actually got through Deco, which was a finance company. And that worked so great. So now that's my next thing. But I'm humming and ahhing. Okay, it's that or the SC. Is it the SC 6000? No, the Prime range. You know the Prime range, the one that's like goes head to head with the XDJ with the CDJ 2000s.
No, I don't. X DJs.
Well, you know, you got the Prime 4, which is basically it goes head to head with the XDJ RX1 console. Mm-hmm. Or RX2 console.
No, the RX2 has only 2 channels.
That's right. It's
the
XZ or something.
RXX or something like that. Yeah. Basically, it has 4 channels. But
the
not...
The Denon can use all 4 channels, whereas
the Pioneers can't. And I was like, that's a bit of a... That's annoying me, because you've got 4 channels, so why do you need 4 channels?
Yeah, and that means that you're still going to have something to plug in to make those other channels useful. But I think there's people that may find it useful than for the people that are using
but you just get the X. I always say, so I teach DJing, and I always tell everyone to invest in an RX2. I like them to get a standalone and avoid using laptop, because
I like the fact that I've got 2 USB ports and I can record my shows straight off of that USB.
It's great. You can record them exactly, and it's got a great panel where you can see everything as well, really nicely. Yeah, and it's touchscreen, so that's pretty cool.
And that's because if I need to search a song, because that's normally doing more of the commercial stuff, they're like, "Can you play this solo?"
I remember when I did my first huge commercial gig on USBs a few years ago, and it was the most stressful gig without my laptop, because I was like, I'm just going to use my USBs now. I was like pulling my hair out, because you're trying to find a track really, really quickly. You're just doing first chorus, but in between the tracks, you have to be so quick on your toes.
And even when Rekordbox first came out, I found that 2019, when we were at London in the Sky, I was using that controller there, and what I found is that because I hadn't put some of my tracks to Rekordbox, it takes a long time to load. Yeah. And if you're on both sides and it was being used a lot, it would take like maybe 20 seconds to load. So if you were not timing it correctly, you wouldn't have time for a mix.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay. But now it seems like in this last kind of time with the folder sorting and it's just the updates that have happened with Rekordbox, the machines are running really good now.
Yeah.
But I was like, do I shell out for the Pioneers or go for the Denons? But the truth of the matter is, if you're going to go industry, you have to go industry standard. Yeah. And that's...
It is industry standard. And these decks that are just controllers that plug into your computer, they have auto loops. They don't have an in and out auto loop. You have no control over your loops. Loops are your best friends. How can you teach somebody to properly use a loop correctly with an auto loop? That's my agenda. So I have a student
like even with the sync button as well.
If you remove it
doesn't even put it in the right.
Well, that's if it's not quantized correctly. But the thing is remove it. We don't need it. DJs can do it by ear. We do not need a sync button. Put the sync buttons on the cheaper CDJs, which are going to be party tricks for people that just want to use them as a hobby to play around with at parties. I get that. But these controllers, it doesn't need a sync. Get rid of the sync. We don't need the sync. Everyone, bye-bye sync. I remember one time I was teaching my friend and he was playing and he had sync on. And I went, oh, that's great. Hang on a sec. Because it was like his second lesson. He was doing really, really well. And I was like, he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, get rid of it.
Yeah, I always same thing.
What are you doing?
When I teach off sync. I mean, to be 100% honest with you, I'm there I'm having a bevy. The mix comes in. I know that it's there and it slips out. I have been known to go on and off.
Really?
Just on and off.
Nudge. So just do the jog wheel.
Yeah,
nudge.
Yeah. If I get the jog wheel, but sometimes I'll just go. So I'm not using this thing.
No, you cheater!
I promise. I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
You cheated on the DJ industry. Oh
no, because it's there, and that's the problem. But what I do find is also gotten me into trouble because of quantizing. Because you go, okay,
you don't quantize, and nobody really quantizes that. I mean, I don't really. I throw my tracks onto a record box, put it on USB. I don't really, because I just take off quantize on the controller and then load it up and then sync it in. Because that's the old way not sync it in, as in play it on cue. But I wouldn't, it's so, technology has become so advanced. The computer, the built-in computer can do it all, really. Yeah. So it's kind of taken the magic great DJ away, and I kind of want to rein back. I wish we could burn CDs and do it again like that.
I have to go on the flip side of this conversation and play devil's advocate, because it
has made the job easier without dragging vinyls everywhere.
Well, for one, I was lucky. I got taught on vinyl, but I was too poor to afford vinyl, so I went straight onto CDs.
Yeah.
And I learned on like the old Gemini, like all-in-one units, and then went up from there to buying my own CDs with the old 4-channel phonic mixer that was like literally garbage from the dumpster, but I found it. I was like, yes, that's mine. Put loads of WD-40 everywhere I could, and then I was like, oh, it works. Okay, so and it worked my way up that way, and like you say, you learn the craft, learning the music, learning and letting the song be. That's why I do have my record box folders, but I've also got all my music as just raw WAV and MP3 files, which just sit there and
go
then
from the CD to the
when I'm
computer.
DJing on Select, like I say, I do the first folder, which is it's gonna have like about 20 tracks, so it should roughly last me an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. So that last 40 minutes, I wing it, and I love winging it, because then I go into these folders that I haven't been in, and I say, let's challenge myself.
Yeah.
I look for tracks. So sometimes it goes well, and sometimes I worry about a text from Joshua Roberts going, "What are you doing?"
Really?
No, he never texts me. But
have you done a live gig yet out of lockdown? Have you done the live?
Yes.
How was that? The first one?
The first gig that I did was a traveller party, and
cool.
it was a riot ensued basically, and I got my stuff and I got out of there, got paid. It was the most crazy thing. In terms of, I was really nervous, obviously, because of the whole DJ side of things. First time you...
It was hard remembering what was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
exactly
like, what playlist did I use? What did I...
I'm using Rekordbox on the computer as well,
Yeah.
and that normally stores like all your metadata to say how many tracks you played in the last like year.
Yeah.
Whatever. They clicked over, like I think it was 6 months before lockdown. They clicked over back to 0. So then I didn't have my go-tos, because if I'm desperate, I just go to that panel and I click, and then it shows me my most played tracks.
Yeah.
And then I can zip down there and go, that's a crowd killer. They love that.
Yeah.
And chuck it in. But then all of that metadata appeared when I loaded up on computer,
Yeah.
and I was like, raw folders. Okay, I know they're like the 90s. Let's try the 90s. And then it's like, okay, that works. Okay, that works. That works. Okay, they're gonna like some
my God.
Fat Boy Slim.
And the
Get
worst,
some Fat Boy Slim in there.
yeah, and the worst when you're playing a record and it's coming to the end of the record and you're like, I don't know what to bloody play next. Like, it's like kind of reawakening your brain again.
I was alright.
really...
After the first 15 minutes, it was, for me, it's not about getting on the decks. It's about everything before. It's about having the sound system set up. It's about having the lights set up. It's about being in position.
Well, yeah, because you did all of that, didn't you? It wasn't like coming to a venue. See, it was me following a crowd at a completely other venue where I'm not playing as Jayli. I'm playing as their DJ. If they booked me as Jayli, I'd be playing feel good house, tribal house
you
music.
walk in and you are doing what you do, and there's no apologies kind of thing. Like, you can just do what you do. You walk in, and that's where I'm aiming towards. But when you have to the corporate
play
environment,
for it, exactly.
You've got.
I like
the guidelines sometimes, because a party's a party. So if I put on a track and I get that buzz, that's where for me the buzz comes from. Is I put on a track, and it's a corporate gig, and it's a literally a corporate gig. I did with actually Joshua Roberts. We did a couple one as the first lockdown gig, and I got to see him properly going on the drums.
Oh, he's
and everything.
great, isn't he?
It was good.
He's full of magic, that boy.
He just started scratching, proper scratching out of it. I was like, oh, okay, you're not just a drummer. You're a proper DJ.
Yeah, I
So
love his sets.
Oh, so
he's
good.
incredible, and he's so technically in
I sat there
tune
with
as
Shazam
well.
for half the time. I was like, Shazam. I just kept Shazamming half a set.
Yeah, I love it. He's just great.
So I get that buzz from, doesn't matter, it's a corporate gig and there's 40 somethings on the dance floor, and I put in a remix of a song and they just go absolutely mental for it, and I go, yeah, it gives you that little dopamine fix. Like, yes, next one.
And you're like, this is why I do what I do.
Yes, exactly. So when the gig comes along and it's a corporate, I'll take it, but I do obviously want to go for those, the ritual events where I can have that, just a bit more
edgy, your style, your vibe.
Yeah. I've got to tone it down, because obviously my style, I have a habit of going into like remixes. I love my remixes.
Yeah.
I love remixes.
That's not a problem.
Remixes. Yeah.
Bleed in a bit of vocal and drop it out.
Yeah. This is what
you don't have to play the whole record.
Josh Parkinson was teaching me. He's like, no man, just drop the vocal into the sampler and then chop it up and just try different things. I was like,
Yeah. The sample is incredible by Logic X. They have literally killed the new sampler interface. It's insane, and it used to be a lot more.
The ESX 2024.
ESX.
Yeah.
Now they've changed. It's just the sampler.
Yeah, sampler.
It's great. It is.
Just drop it in. Job done. Thank you.
Make your markers. Yeah, awesome. Or you can put it into your Native Instruments machine and just like play it.
I would love to actually see how you operate in studio when you get your new place set up.
I know. I'm currently in a studio with my partner. He's a gamer, and it's a bit of a nightmare because we have
That's
to
an oversimplification of a gamer.
No, like he's a gamer producer. So one side is his desk and the other side is my desk. And if I'm listening to a kick drum over and over and over
that
and over
must
and over,
drive him
he's
insane.
like, I don't know, and I'm listening to the frequencies, and the sound is bouncing all over the room. So basically, what's the program I was using recently? And it basically finds out, you hold a microphone up, and it analyzes your room, and it plays the way your room sounds. So when you take it mix, it will sound good in every single place.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. But there's no point in me doing. I did it here, and I used the tutorial, as in it's got like a 1 week use that you can use it for free, and then afterwards you have to buy it, and it's expensive. It's about £280.
Wow.
What is it called? I will find out. But anyway, I did it in the room, and it just lifts the sound. Really? Absolutely elevates it. You put it on the master channel, incredible. But it has been hard because we've had to really like time it. So I'll do the mornings because I'm very aware in the mornings. The evenings I'm like a zombie. This is why you'll see me doing the day gigs.
Oh really?
I can't function at 3 a.m. in the morning. I am like, I need my bed.
Really?
I am not an evening person.
Completely the opposite.
Oh, yeah. So me morning, I'm up at 6 a.m. I'm doing my
That's
meditation. I do my exercises. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And then I have the rest of the day. And by 7 p.m. I crash.
So what time do you get up then? What time is your normal wake up time?
6:30.
6:30. Wow.
If I'm working out at F45, I'll wake up a bit beforehand, 6:15.
I get forced awake by my 3-year-old at that time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be up at that time.
Yeah, my partner, he's the same. He mornings, and so we are vice versa. And I was like, this is great though, because like if we have a baby, you can do the night shift and I can do the morning shift.
Well, that's exactly what my wife and I do. So like if I've DJ'd a gig, you know, she'll let me sleep in, and then like I kind of do the things that need to be done in the evening, and it works out that way. But you guys, so when does the move take?
The move takes place, I think, end of June, so we can get in before the stamp duty. I have we're converting my garage into a little.
So in other words, we've got a housewarming party.
Yeah, we're gonna have it. We have a big garden, which is nice.
Nice.
But I know I can produce a lot more content and a lot more work, and that's been the only thing hindering me. I was like, right, I'm going to do these new Music Fridays. Every single time I have to do it, I have to get my decks out, my speakers out, dress the place, put it all away again. And in the end, I went, this is just stressing me out more than it's worth.
Before you've actually found your creative, well, you get a creative flow buzz, because I don't know, for me, it's like I get that just before I fall asleep sometimes, I get this whisper of a sound, and like the whisper of the melody that goes and you're like and then and you know you get that adrenaline fix.
I get it at the gym.
When you hear that,
doing voice notes,
you get that and you're and then that kicks me awake, so I have to go downstairs, and I find and that's when I get my little time alone.
That's so nice.
That's what I was gonna get. It's called an aura ring, because I found the older that I've been getting, the less sleep I actually need.
Really?
I love to sleep.
How
but
funny.
It turns out that I'm just being lazy, because when I have to push myself, I sleep on 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm actually just as alert and just as fine as I am when I've had an 8-hour sleep. So apparently this Aura ring, it costs about 300 quid that I looked. I was like, oh, yes, no, not just yet. But it basically, you wear it, and then it maps out when you go into REM cycle.
It sounds like a Whoop.
Something along those lines.
A Whoop is the same thing, so it will tells you when you're in your sleep, the best way you're active recovery, when you shouldn't work out, when you should.
You go down to sleep when your body wants to do that. So then you sleep 4 or 5 hours, and you are fully rested, and then you can crack on and do other things.
Look into Whoop. It's a lot cheaper. I think it works out to be a subscription that you pay each month.
That's how they get you.
It is
monthly money.
It's
See, I'm getting loads of good tips here. This is why I love doing this.
Yeah, Whoops are great. But you know what? You can't force creativity. There's some days where I'll wake up, I'll go to the studio. Today I'm going to make a track. I sit there, and then I'm like, I'm so shit at everything. And then I come back the following day, and I'm like,
it's like dun dun dun.
I'm like, I'm getting it all. Everything's working, and I'm like, why was I not like this yesterday? You cannot force creativity.
Yeah.
Just try every single day, and sometimes you'll get it. Other days, not much. And then if you can't do it that day, just leave it. Come back to it the following day, and you will be amazed by how much more alert you are and how much you can do things, because you might not be in the right headspace or the right cycle in your life at that point in time. Everybody has cycles. I know men are like, we don't have cycles, we don't have periods. Trust me, we all have the cycles.
Well, we're all affected by the moon.
I know. You
have
have your lateral phase.
If the moon can pull so much water across the planet, then it can surely affect us, which is pretty much water. So because my mom's a therapist, so So she does all kinds of...
So are you releasing music this year?
I have released a track.
Okay.
Thanks to Mr. Tim Cullen. He helped me. I love Tim Cullen. Have you heard his new track?
Yes.
Take This. Yeah, absolutely smashing it on the charts.
It's on my new disco playlist.
Yeah, I've got that. It's like fits into so many like genres because I put it in my techie kind of vibe folder, that cool techie kind of vibe folder. So it really works there, but it also works with the newer stuff. So and the funky house stuff. But it's because it's got that old edge to it, you know. And that vocal that he puts into there is brilliant. So yeah, I also got, like I said, I got to him in the studio and I got to release a track.
And what's it called?
That one is called that's so bad. I keep wanting to say Take This, but that's his track. Can You Dig It?
Can You Dig It? And have you released it?
Yeah, so the track's called Can You Dig It? It's been released already, and I didn't do any of
promotion.
Yeah, I didn't really push any kind of major promotion for it because it was more of an exercise about learning the craft. So I took all the elements that I wanted and I sat with him and then he helped me.
Yes, you can.
No. I tell you what, I don't mind playing you a little clip of it quickly so you can get an idea because. Yeah.
Who did you release it with, or did you just distribute it yourself? I
released it on because I've got I'm with a record label called Marauder Records, which was actually created out in South Africa by a friend of mine, and he Matt Odie, and we've been putting out loads of like Afro vibes on there, and just getting our own kind of music out without anybody having to kind of have control of it.
Well, thank you for playing my record.
I love that Eating Pineapple.
Yeah, it's now called. I've changed the name, and it's going to be released with Exigo Records.
Oh wow! So it's actually getting a full proper.
It's getting a proper release. It's going to be pumped promotional. It's called Coconuts Under the Palm Tree.
Poor man, them systems up. Food that we can't know up. Let them a go get that now. Poor man, them systems up. Food that we can't know up. Poor man, them systems up.
Because it sounds like coconuts banging together, and my dad from his history of Monty Python records, it was like it just reminded me of coconuts banging together. And you know what we're gonna do next?
What's that?
We're gonna do two tunes from the Monty Python album. We're doing Always Look on the Bright Side of Life and Every Sperm is Sacred, because my dad produced them, so he's got all the stems.
Oh, there you go. So
we're going to take those stems.
What about the rights?
Yeah, and then we're going to, he has the rights and the royalties.
Fantastic.
So we're going to rework them and we're going to turn them into house records. I really want to do a Britney one as well, because I want to start all the remixes I make. I just released one with Lincoln Bayo from Canada with the next episode, and I've got a tribal house version I'm releasing myself that we can get on Spotify.
Please, you better drop that onto the airdrop.
I know, I need to. I have any time to do it, and you know what? I need to do it. Drop it on. We have like this portal, and we put everything onto this portal so DJs can play it.
Oh, really?
But I haven't been doing that recently. But yeah, we've got that. I'm releasing a track with a label from Phoenix called Seshleen Records. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. They're pretty cool.
See, that's the thing. So I put this track out because I just wanted to get those fundamentals. I had this idea in my head, so I got all the bits and pieces together, and then Tim helped me put it together and showed me the process so that I could start doing these things on my own.
Amazing.
Obviously, all credit goes to the way in which he puts it together. But this is the kind of vibes that I'm trying to get out there.
Let's hear it.
We have been unable to see the truth because we have been fighting for 10 square feet of ground. Can you dig it?
Oh, I love it.
He did. Actually,
Who did?
Tim. So
Tim.
he's actually set up his own mastering company.
Has he?
So yeah,
Oh, I'm gonna have to use him.
yeah. But his understanding of like
Oh, I
all
love
the
this
elements.
bit. How did you make it? By Logic or?
Yeah. And sampler, that's where I was like, sampler! You showed me everything top to bottom as well. I was like,
Oh, this is vibey. Is it on the portal?
yeah, it's out now on Beatport, all everywhere.
No, it's in the Select portal.
Yes, it is. It's on the portal. And for all of you at home, you can buy it.
I love it. Amazing. Ready, wait for the drop. I'd be very happy if this is my record. Jesus, it's great. Nice. Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Well
yeah,
done.
no, that's.
You should be proud of yourself.
Yeah,
It's great.
I was quite stoked, and now I've got another one that I'm working on, which I'm also. I always try to put these little lines in there because I was like, we have been unable to see the truth because we have been fighting for 10 square feet of ground. It's kind of my inspiration came from Sheeple, Proc and Fitch.
Yeah.
The release that they had, and I was like, so I kind of used that.
I thought you meant a TV show then. It sounded like a TV show vibe. I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale at the moment. And that's insane. It's basically if America was taken over by a very religious cult, and they didn't believe in
Anthony Hopkins, eh?
I don't know. Oh, it might be. But it's won 3 Golden Globes.
Yeah.
And it took me about 4 episodes to actually like it. I was like, oh, this is a bit long.
That's pretty much like all of them nowadays, though.
Well, yeah, but then I
like,
watched This Is Us, and that got me from this word go. Like, This Is Us was great on Amazon Prime. But, yeah, Handmaid's... It's incredible. It is deep. It is... all about, it kind of is a bit scary and similar to things that we're going through at the moment in life.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Not about the pandemic or anything, but the people in control and where this generation is going. You know?
Wow.
And none of the other countries are involved in this like cult. Only America is.
Only America, yeah.
So like trying to escape to Canada because they're going to be saved. It's mental. It's such a good show. So check it out.
Definitely. I'll definitely check that out.
That sounded like you were talking about that show was like fighting for your land almost.
Well, that's where I mean the movie The Warriors. It's about them in New York, and it's a really old school movie, but it's really good. I love my film, so anywhere I can sample that I can get away with sampling.
But that could be your thing, your niche. My niche is putting effects onto tracks, like sound effects, because we've got a billion amount of sound effects on our Redwood Studios drive, which is part of my studio. I've got a company called Studios that run all the podcasts where I produce for people.
I mean, I've seen the quality of your content really gets to me because obviously I've put this together because I believe in what I can just share with everyone because there's. How often do we get to chat as DJs? I say this every show. We as DJs never get to sit down, have a conversation, and just... And
we all know each other.
Yeah.
We all are friends.
How many times have I seen you again? Hey, Jayli, how's it going? Yeah. I get you on the day. I think it was when... And then we
do a changeover. That's
it.
It's
that's it. And I think that was it when... and you get to like DJs even though you don't spend a lot of time with them because... When you get to see someone DJ and the way in which they put tracks together, you get a sense of their energy and their flavor. And when I heard that you had this kind of like head candy kind of, you know,
scene,
really nice vibe to your music, and then you started pulling out these bangers like, oh wait, you know, not to sound chauvinistic, but I was like, this girl can actually DJ. You know, she's like,
I just love my music and I love mixing, and I could always work a mixing desk. I think that in the band when I was doing Black Eyed Peas stuff, and we were always going to these rehearsal rooms, and they had these mixers, and they'd be like, Jamie, because I'd be the one being able to get the music onto the mixer.
Yeah, that's a very important skill set.
But it's all thanks to my dad. Thanks to him using his big sound studio. He used to have a studio in Neil's Yard, and there's a
Yeah.
plaque on Neil's Yard for Monty Python, and it's because he did all the movies
Oh, wow.
in this
In
little
that
Neil's
studio.
Yard studio.
Wow.
And I remember being around then and watching him and looking at the buttons, I would say knobs, but that's quite rude, and I just said it anyway. And just learning from him has been such a blessing. And you know, I think about this, like if me and Barney want to start a family, I don't know if I want to DJ while I'm pregnant, because I'm going to be exhausted and stuff. Like I probably won't do it for the first trimester, and then the second, third, fourth, I will. My friends have been pregnant, and I know what they get so exhausted and tired. Unless it's a dating, I don't know if I'll be able to hack it. That's where my sound design comes into it, and this is why I wanted to start my. It's almost like a section of Redwood Studios, from Dad doing all his films, adverts, TV shows, and me taking control of the podcasts, and launching these podcasts. And we launched one on Monday a week and a half ago, and we've reached number 7 on the most listened to shows on iTunes podcasts, and number 40 of the top educationals on Spotify. And Spotify is a big impact.
That's huge.
Like, that's changed the game. So anybody that would love your podcast produced from like the ground up, literally, that's what I do. So, and I absolutely love it. Like after this, I'm going to be jumping on Pro Tools and just working on some podcasts.
Well, you see, I mean, this is exactly like one of the benefits for me doing this, because like I say, I get to meet all these interesting people, and at the moment, what it is, us showcasing all of what Select has to offer, because we've got such a wealth of talent.
An eclectic amount of talent.
Yeah, and
in
everybody
the roster.
just driving for that same, you know, the passion and love of music and going forward. So to be able to sit down with people like yourself and see that creativeness, but at the same time, with every person that I've been to, I have walked away enriched. And for example, this background, thank you so much. As you can see, we've got some epic backgrounds going on.
The green screen.
I now have been elevated up to green screen status, so I'm really stoked about that. And you know, and more than that, just that kind of
£20
learning
eBay.
about.
Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, Amazon. I've been an Amazon driver during lockdown.
Wow.
So,
it's been
hard times. Hard times.
It has been a little bit difficult.
But I have said this, that
light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, one, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but like those that have pushed through, and that's what I touched on earlier, was the fact that you have, through all of this lockdown, it has solidified your love and passion for the music industry in general, not just DJing, but as you say, in the production side of things as well. You know, some people have gone, I'm selling my kits, I need to get a stable job, I need to find a 9 to 5.
I did have that little freak out for about 2 weeks, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
I nearly went back to Africa. I was like, what am I doing here? They keep talking about the South African variant. My friends are partying on the beach right now and asking me to come back.
It's ridiculous,
and I was like, do I go? Because I've worked a long time to get to where I am as well, you know, so I don't want to just.
And you've got your baby here, and
and think about the family. I mean, I know I can give them a good life out there, no problem, but I'm also chasing my passion and my dream here. So, and it was like, do I make that sacrifice? But for me, it got solidified, and just as it happened in the Great Depression, I think it was in the 1920s.
The Roaring '20s came around.
Exactly, because people they'd been like, no money, poverty everywhere. Like, oh, well, let's party now, and then stimulus started happening.
It's going to be the Roaring '20s,
and all the people that were able to capitalize from that were able to elevate themselves to big status of money. And JP Morgan and that kind of things, they started with small stores during that time. So when they took off big. Now, in terms of the DJing industry, people have realized now that what we provide as a service is essential. Because they used to be like, so what do you do for a living? So I'm a DJ. Like, no, but how do you make your money?
Exactly, it drives me mad.
And it's like, no, I'm a professional at what I do.
I'm a full-time DJ. This is how I make my money.
If
I don't play, I don't earn money.
Yeah. But now those people that have, like you say, have said, let's do this, let's stay positive and focused, now we're at that cusp point where things are starting to come back. All the bookings are starting to come back.
It's going to be a good year.
It's going to explode.
That brings me to my point I want to mention quickly is I have an event called Jagged Jungle, and obviously if you listen to Select, you know Jagged Jungle Live. It was something I wanted to be as part of the Jagged Jungle podcast. It started as a podcast.
And when the Jagged Jungle?
We're on 34 months ago.
Oh, wow, that's
34.
epic.
So every single month we release a podcast and we update the playlist. So we have the Jagged Jungle playlist on Spotify. It has 100 followers now on the playlist. But you know what? It's great because I release it and it gets like within the first day it gets about 600 plays, and I'm really grateful for that because it is grown and grown and grown and grown. And now it's an event. So the 1st of February 2020, we did our first event, which was at Guildhall.
Okay.
Which was full of pineapples. Bacardi sponsored it.
Nice.
We had 3 DJs playing, and they were all girls. And then we had a percussionist, Chris, who I've worked with Head Candy, and he was awesome as well. He came down and we had Boa Vida there, selling their dessert bowls, and then we had poke bowls as well, selling the food. So it was like a foodie event, and then we had espresso martini as well, and they did it as well. So everybody like came and was part of it, and then we had the bitch clinic do an exercise beforehand.
Amazing.
So Jagged Jungle, the event, it's all about wellness, fitness, and having fun with it.
Oh, fantastic.
So you kind of get there, you do your yoga workout, and then afterwards you can party through the day. So it starts with Trapical Feel Good House into a disco, and then it takes you to the tribal house section until the sun goes down. And when the sun goes down, the party ends.
You're selling it to me.
And that is Jagged Jungle. So we started that was the 1st of February, and then we went into lockdown beginning of March. So I was like, right, what are we going to do? So beginning of March, we decided to put together a plan where we would do an online Jagged Jungle festival, and Judge Jules was headlining it.
Yes, I saw that on your Instagram.
And we got Jabel Beers to sponsor it, and Truffle Burgers. So they would bring, whoever bought a ticket, they'd bring burgers and beers to your door.
Amazing. So you got properly into the vibe of
mate, and we like brought a barbecue to your house, and with all these DJs streaming in, and so I brought the DJs on board that were part of the first event.
Fantastic.
And then this year we are doing 2 events. So we're going to hopefully do one end of July, and we're taking over Surf Yoga Beer in Croatia, where it's called Island Takeover.
Everyone's going to Croatia. I want to go to Croatia as well.
But I mean, that's what Jagged Jungle is about, and it's a brand. And it's also a record label now, and I'm really passionate about it being a real feel-good energy where people can come on board, and there's so much to it. There's the podcast, there's the event, there's the merchandise, which is like my I'm not good at merchandise stuff. But I mean, it's all about the music. It's the record label as well. So if you guys want a full-on day party, that is going to be
and you know
it's
what?
Not an evening party, it's a day party.
I think that is exactly the thing that people are looking out for at the moment. I mean, with all the parties that are happening.
Nobody can deal with nighttime anymore because we're all in bed by 9.
For
the last year.
Everyone's learned to enjoy. I mean, that's what the Spanish do. What they do, they only do they go for a afternoon sleep, so they can enjoy the evening, not just party all the way through. I mean, South Africa, they don't stop.
You're like, what? They just full 24 hours, 48 hours.
Clubs, I miss watching the sunrise coming out of a club.
I've never done that.
That was for me one of the you get these things that are turned into you as experiences.
Yeah, moments of your life.
There is this club called Tilt in South Africa. Was this club called Tilt?
Oh no.
It was there for many years, and it was amazing. It was an old ballerina's studio, so it had wooden floors and mirrors and everything like that. And I think.
Did you play there?
I got to eventually play there. I was in high school in its heyday, so I was in like 6th form, and I got to get in there and play a set, which was really cool. But what was ingrained in me was going to that club, and they had this amazing dance floor because of the wooden floors and amazing sound systems, and I just remember hitting it really hard. Everyone's dancing in lines and going to, I think it was...
it had sprung floor as well. So
Yeah.
quite...
You're going with it, and you get the vibration as well. So there's this DJ, I can't remember his name right now, but he was playing, and it was just going off, and I remember it was coming... I opened the door, there was sun coming up, and there's an IEC sensor in front, and then the sun was coming over it, and I was like, hang on, that's the sunshine. And then I go back into the club, and it was just still, everyone's just sweating the walls, and I was like, yes, I love this place, and it just kind of captured me. And you don't get that here because like clubs close at 3:00. You've got your afters clubs and stuff.
Yeah, you have your afters.
They're few and far between,
and they're kind of grimy. They're like indoors, underground.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't get the whole vibe. It was outside, or was I remember there was one though that was on Centre Point, and it was the top floor Centre Point, so you could watch the sun come up.
Oh.
And that was a cool venue. I don't think it was around for long, but maybe licensing issues or something. But
that's the whole crackdown that's been happening. But that's why events like Janga Jungle are so epic, because that shift has happened. People still want to enjoy the music, enjoy the just everything about it, in a nice way.
Exactly. And I always have that
and not
guilty
being completely wrecked for work the next day.
That's the thing. And I always feel so guilty when I don't work out. So working out to me is such a big thing for me spiritually. So I wanted to involve that in the event. So it's all about working out beforehand. That's why I'm teaming up with Surf Yoga Beer, because it is about exercise and then play.
Yeah.
So you exercise and then you play. This is what Jagger Jungle is all about. You kind of come away from it. You've exercised. You've had great cocktails. You've had great food, like all healthy foods, like acai bowls, all from the earth. It's just, it's so good. And I remember we were kind of let down from a company for the first Jagger Jungle. They were meant to bring all the kit and dress it. Anyway, they went to the wrong location.
Oh no.
So the night before, we were like, we need to dress the venue. We have nothing to dress the venue in. Luckily, the venue was quite nice because it's got like pineapples everywhere and stuff, but not where I wanted. So I had to buy all these like inflatable plastic friggin' palm trees, which is so against what I'm about, like plastic, everything plastic. And I was like, please, no one
save the environment.
And it was all about saving the environment, about earth. And then we were raising money for the bushfires in Australia and mental health for the ticket sales were going towards that. So I was devastated because I was like, so now I still have them in the back under there. They're staying with me, these plastic palm trees.
They will come out. They will be used.
They will be used probably next to me at a live stream in my new house. That's probably...
I've seen the live stream with a couple of inflatables in your back garden already.
And I remember I was at Coachella.
Yeah.
And my friend, he's the lawyer of Kygo. So we were all together. And before his show, and it was just as he was coming up.
Yeah.
But must have been 2011, maybe 2012. We had all these inflatables, and they were like, we have to blow them all up and throw them into the crowd. So all of us, including Kygo, were blowing up these inflatables. And then he goes on stage. I'm like, he's so down to earth, like blowing up these inflatables himself to then throw into the crowd. And everyone's like, woo! There's
amazing.
What are they called? Swimming rings everywhere. And
that's
it was so much fun. But now I think there should be a company that are creating biodegradable blow up palm trees, surfboards, these kind of vibes.
My friends already got that. My friends, they use reclaimed and biodegradable material to surfboards in South Africa.
Really? Did they not distribute it in the UK?
They distribute it worldwide.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they distribute worldwide.
I need 2 surfboards for this event. And I'm like trying to find surfboards. I'm like...
Scott Hamilton. Scott Hamilton is his name. I can
reach out, see if he can hook me up with 2 surfboards.
Yeah, because they do that. I mean, obviously, because from Durban, where I'm from, very into ocean, and that's what I've said to my missus many times. I mean, if I had to win the lotto tomorrow, the first thing I'd do is I would go find somewhere right by the ocean, and I would be there for nature conservation for the rest of my life.
I love that.
Because every time I go anywhere on holiday, even in Bali, it was really sad.
Yeah, you get the bin bags and you collect all the shit.
I go for a I'll just have a bin bag with me, in Durban, that's also becoming a very common thing where there's cleanup crews that are doing.
But you
really
have
looking
to
after
do
the
your
beaches.
part. Like we went to Nusa Penida in Bali, and there was one of the beaches. You are nearly dying, like climbing down this hill, and I tried to get my mom to do it. She was in tears because she was that scared, and I was like, come on, you've got this. By the time we got down to the bottom, we collected all the rubbish that is washed up from the sea. So people don't leave it there. It's literally put into the sea somewhere as a dump and then is washed up. And there's all these little plastic broken down plastic, and that's what gets into the fish and kills the fish.
It's
exactly.
the microplastics,
So what we were doing, we're collecting all the to make sure it do that, and then we had to like lift it up this hill, and the sun's coming up because you have to go super early so you don't like overheat. It's kind of crazy. You have a quick bathe, and then you walk up with these big bags, and we had like between us, we had 5 bin bags worth of stuff.
I started with one little packet that I found floating, and then I saw another piece of plastic, and I was like,
the problem is though, you collect it all, put it in the bin, and it goes straight back into the sea again. So they have to be able to. There must be.
You know, it is a problem, but the more that, to be honest, that like ourselves, we're talking about this issue, and I see it as an issue. And plastics in the ocean, for me, like I am an ocean baby. I love the ocean, and it kills me every day. Actually, living in the UK because.
Well, did you move here then?
I left. Okay, so January is dead time for DJs.
Yeah.
Okay, I take holiday in January most years. Every 2 years. I can see my family in South Africa.
That's what I do. January is the holiday season for the DJs.
Yeah, that's it. And I went, and I actually came back on the 14th of February in 2020 when the lockdown started. Like the week before the lockdown started. I think
that's why you went at the Jagged Jungle 1st of February.
I was in sunny South Africa. I was in tears when I left because I say Nelson Mandela would be proud in some aspects of the progress that has been made in the multicultural vibe that happens in South Africa. And I was sitting at the table with my grandparents and my mother and my family's all sitting there, and I just had to walk away because I was in tears, because I was like, why am I going to go back to the UK when this country is, imagine Brighton, 8-foot waves, sandy beach, palm trees, and the nightlife of the heyday of Brighton, like audio and like Honey Club and all those kind of imagine that. You wouldn't want to leave that place ever. And a temperature that doesn't drop below like 16 degrees. You know? It is perfect destination.
Sounds like
it is epic, and I go back because of that. But I do have a love for the UK, and obviously because
there's
of my
something
work
special
here.
about the UK. Every time I'm away from the UK, I want to come back. Like there's something keeping me here, and I don't know what it is.
That's how I feel about Tunbridge Wells, because it's kind of I've gravitated.
We were looking at Tunbridge Wells as a location to move.
It literally.
It was
like
expensive
a magnet
though.
for me. Yeah, well that's why I'm outside of Tunbridge. I'm in like just outside of Paddock Wood, which is
how far is your train station to get to the train?
I don't do trains.
You just drive everywhere.
I just drive. I just look at if it's.
So you don't drink when you're at gigs and stuff?
No, not really. I might have a pint or something, but I'm not really a drinker per se. I'm more of like just like.
Did you do that D&D gig up in Edinburgh last year?
No.
Oh my god, I did the gig in Edinburgh. It's a new location they have, and me and Stacey went up to do it.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't serve us a beer, or a wine or anything. We were the DJs, and normally we always get at least
that puts me on the back.
I know, and I was really upset. And I remember texting Dan and being like, "They're not giving us a beer," and he went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
he was like offering beers. I was like, "I have just driven 4 hours. Give me a pint or something." Because I just wanted to be able to just relax into the groove with my one drink that I'm allowed because I'm driving.
When you are doing that with the crowd in front of you, not to
you're
say
there
like
for
you have
5
to get
hours
to
as well. You're allowed one friggin' drink.
Exactly, and you're gonna have some food and stuff. I will normally have that because one, it takes the edge off a bit, because anytime as a DJ, I love it, but I still get that adrenaline rush just before getting to the gig. And
you always get a bit of nervousness. Always.
So just, if normally a venue will go, "Oh, would you like a drink?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, sure." I actually turn very camp with my drinks now, because I really like the gin, pink gin. with I don't even have lemonade now. I just have it with tonic water. So I'm like, they're like, you want a pint? I'm like, can I have a pink gin, please?
Pink gin with tonic water. A little bit of elderflower in there as well, please.
So one of those. Yeah, that's on my rider now. You know,
with some
pink
pepper.
gin.
You know that hard pepper that's always in those cocktail gins. Yeah.
No, so just.
Check out the Gin Club on, it used to be my old studio.
My sister-in-law put me onto them as well.
The Gin Club. And it's on, used to be called the Star Cafe, and it was on Great Chapel Street in Soho. But they might have moved or closed. I think it was TfL, Tottenham Court Road, made them close.
It's going to be interesting to see what actually comes back and where all these things pop up. And
do you know what I mean?
But the festival game is where it's at now. The outdoor.
Well, I said we need to do a Jagger Jungle with your festival idea.
You have now just like revolutionized my life again by showing me that I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to keep that secret when you found that venue, because that's pretty epic.
I feel like contact them. Let's see if we can do a party there. I mean, even if we get a rental bus where people can go from London into a bus and then we take them to the location. Bring them back to London that evening.
The shuttle service is sorted. But you see, down in Kent, there's some epic locations. And, you know, from Charing Cross to Tunbridge Wells is a 45-minute train drive.
Yeah.
40 minutes, you know. So it's so doable. And then you're in the countryside. And I think that's where... Get out into the country. And I think that will work perfectly. Jagger Jungle vibes as well.
It
you
will.
Know.
It really
running
will.
up and down a hill, then have a cocktail.
Exactly. Oh, it's been so lovely you have me here in my home, my humble abode.
Thank you so much for having me here. I've absolutely loved catching up with you, and I cannot wait. I know, like I said, we met in 2019 with AAA at London's in the Sky. They brought it back for August.
2019 it was.
2019, I am 100% sure. Yeah.
You said 2018 just then.
No, 2019. 2019, apologies. Yeah. So, and I look forward to this 2020's... we're in 2020?
We're in 2021.
It is 2021. You see, it is. Yeah.
It's May, actually. We're midway through.
May. Oh, my goodness.
Well... June will be midway through. Oh,
yeah.
God, what is happening to the time? We'll be in half of lockdown in 2021 as well, but bearing in mind, like, we are free on June 21st for all you international people wondering why we're talking like this.
Where are you going to be? Where are you going to be? So lockdown ends.
My diary.
What is your...
So I'm Foreverland. I will be in Barcelona for Foreverland, and we're touring with them as well, which is awesome. I am doing 2 Jagger Jungles, one in Croatia with Surf Yoga Beer, one in London. I've got my residencies all of here with the D&D venues. Yeah. I always run Babos as well, Embargoes we're part of. And obviously 100 Wardour Street, Coglinos, Madison. And I've got some other events happening. Like I'm doing an event with Shaka at... Night Tales, which was awesome. I was thinking of Night Tales as a location as well, but I think the more festival thing sounds pretty cool as an idea. Yeah, and I'm going to pitch it to my company, and then we can...
I will show you some video footage of the hop farm. Now, there's part of the lakes. It's basically like a forest jungle kind of vibe, and we just put up lights everywhere inside, and people are just dancing in the woodlands, and it is just... the most epic feeling when you just see it all come together. So yeah,
there is so many locations that are hidden that you can actually use, which is pretty cool. You just got to do your research. But I mean, yeah, that's basically where I am. I'm actually excited to see where this music takes me, because I've gone from doing really commercial music to falling out of love with commercial music to falling in... Well, I've always been in love with tribal Afro house music, but creating it was a completely different kettle of fish, and I've cemented that during lockdown. Nice. And I'm really proud of what's coming out.
And have you got any current releases that are...
So Exigo comes out... Exigo Records, Coconuts Under the Palm Tree is the first one.
So that's
and then out. And then one with Seshline Records with in Phoenix. It's kind of nice to have a stamp in America.
Nice, yeah.
Because I haven't released anything in America before. And then I've got coming out on Jagger Jungle, Wonder Where You Are, and Higher.
Amazing.
I finished them on Thursday next week. We're just going in to do a final mix of that. And I've released next episode for which is a free download with DJ City and SoundCloud. So if you head over to my soundcloud.com/Jayli Music, you can get a free download of the next episode with link in bio. And there will be a tribal version of that record coming out as well on Spotify.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's good. It's
You're
good
keeping
days.
very, very, very busy at the moment.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, and so thank you so much once again for being. And guys and girls, don't forget, if you've watched up to this point, make sure to smash that like button as well as subscribe so you get all the fresh content. And thank you so much for Jayli for letting us into your home and learning more about where you came from as a DJ and have coming up, because
it's a funny story.
you know, I gotta say, because one of the things that I've been seeing is like female DJs is something that I come up in a different way in terms of the DJ you've come into the circle, but for us to be on the same side of the table, as it were, DJing side by side, to see the way you play and now to be able to sit down and see where the path came from, it's just really nice to get to learn more about other DJs like yourself. So
thank you, my
so
sweetheart.
thank you so much. I'm looking forward to all the guests, all the things that we have coming up.
Yes.
And we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Dave.
Cheers. Bye.
Take care.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Poor man, them sis mass up. Food that we can't now up. Bet them a go get that now. Poor man, them sis mass up. Food that we can't now up. Poor man, them sis mass up.